Oops.
Jesus.
Oh, God.
Start again.
I'm fine. Okay. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome back. Welcome. My name's Georgia.
And I'm Olivia.
And welcome to Nurse Rat Chat. Well,
Who are you talking about today?
straight into it. Well, I've got a really interesting one today. I'm excited.
I've got no idea who you're about to talk about.
Yes, you do. I told you last night. Didn't I?
Who? No.
Oh, I'm not talking about anyone. I'm talking about a place.
Oh, we'll see that. I've got no clue.
It's not a who, it's a where.
Okay.
Can you guess?
No.
Okay, so I wanted to do a spooky episode. So this one's about the Beechworth Asylum.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought you were saying you wanted to go there together.
Yes, I do.
Oh, that's the part I read. I didn't know you were writing about it. I didn't think you said you were writing a podcast on it. I'll read my message later.
I'm pretty sure I did. But anyway, that's fine. Whatever. The point is I do want to go there with you and do the ghost tour.
Yes.
Because it's a spooky fucking place and I'm about to tell you all about it.
Excellent.
So it's called Mayday Hill. Well, it was called Mayday Hills. It is, decommissioned now. So opening in the 1867s.
The 1867s. Not the 1868s or the 6s.
No.
The 1866s.
Yeah, the 1800s of it all. It's another old-timey tale. So it was opened in 1867.
Fuck. Here.
In Australia, in Beechworth. And
in Melbourne.
In Beechworth.
Victoria.
In Beechworth.
But where's that? Victoria?
Victoria.
Yeah, okay, I thought so.
Beechworth, you've never been there.
No, I have. I'm trying to picture.
Rural Victoria, in kind of central Vic. It's 3 hours away.
Not beachy at all, is it?
No, it's not. It's in the hills.
I was trying to think, is that near down Geelong Way?
It's where Ned Kelly hung out.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Anyway, the old asylum in Beechworth, Australia has had many names, from Beechworth Asylum in 1867 to Mayday Hills Psychiatric Hospital by its closing in 1995. So the over 200-acre site has seen tens of thousands of patients and quite possibly over 9,000 deaths in its 128 years of operation. Crazy, right?
Yeah.
In 1863, the Victorian government selected sites for 3 new lunatic asylums as the state's only mental institution, Yarra Bend, was overcrowded.
Yarra Bend, of course.
Bend.
Chuck them out, way out.
Yeah. These sites would become Arradale Mental Hospital in Ararat, opened in 1865. Kew Lunatic Asylum in Kew, which is still there, opened in 1871. It's made into residential
Is it?
properties now, and Beechworth Asylum. As a side note, a fourth, the Sunbury Lunatic Asylum, was opened in Sunbury, Victoria in 1879, so there's a shit ton. Then we need to visit them all.
No idea, yeah.
I didn't know either. So they're called lunatic asylums,
I know.
which is really not PC. Anyway, so to be considered a lunatic, you had to be either demented, paranoid, have mania, or melancholy. So Beechworth Asylum formally opened in October 24th in 1867 under Superintendent Dr. Thomas Dick, who was...
Dr. Thomas Dick.
Yeah, Tom, Dick and Harry, probably.
Ah, yeah.
Anyway, who was a very weird gentleman, apparently.
Okay.
He was described by his granddaughter as being a big, gruff Scotsman with a red beard. He firmly believed that it was the moon that made you insane. Hence the word lunacy. Get it? Lunar?
Wow.
Yeah, I know. Lunatic, lunacy. It's a thing. And he believed this to the point where he would never venture outside at night without an umbrella. Nurses can vouch for this theory. Fucking full moon on a hospital ward. It's always a crazy place. The asylum would later be named Mayday Hills Hospital. At the time of its construction, the asylum was noted to be the largest building in the colony. The building itself reached half a kilometre, about 0.3 of a mile. The site was almost 106 hectares or 260 acres. It sat atop a hill with panoramic views of the surrounding countryside and Beechworth. The site was chosen primarily for its healthy, elevated position because apparently this was because high altitude winds of Mayday Hills were believed to carry afflictions of the mind away. The 1800s of it all.
Yeah, just blow them away.
Yeah, blow away schizophrenia. It's fine. Just a healthy dose of wind.
If only it was that easy.
That'll do it. It was also considered to be a sufficient enough distance from the town, but close enough as to not make it difficult for visitors and delivery of provisions. The land also left a lot of room for expansion. The asylum was built in accordance with the early 19th century architecture of the time, so it was a beautiful building on the outside, very creepy on the inside. At its peak, it was entirely self-sufficient. It had a huge kitchen garden that included an orchard that ran the length of the hospital and was tended to by 25 patients on a full-time basis. The garden produced enough fruit and vegetables all year round that it not only fed the hospital, but its staff, the Beechworth Jail and the Beechworth Benevolent Asylum for Aged Care as well. Any surplus vegetables were then transported to other hospitals in Melbourne, so it was a whole production. The hospital grounds housed a farm as well, which supplied the asylum's meat and dairy needs, which included a piggery, stables and a barn. Also on the grounds of the asylum was a pharmacy, tailor shop, a toy shop, where the patients made wooden toys that they could sell and make money from. And there's pictures of these old wooden toys on this historical tour that they do it, and they're creepy as fuck.
Oh, yeah?
Like just wooden toys sitting there. Ugh. There was also tennis courts, an oval and a cricket pavilion, a kiosk, a theatre, a catering centre.
This sounds
a
fucking
courtyard
fancy.
with a fountain, a morgue and a chapel.
Can I stay there?
Yeah, you can actually. A portion of it has been made into a hotel.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Do you really want to stay the night in a haunted hotel?
Yeah, why not?
It's haunted as fuck, by the way.
Why not?
Yeah, let's do it. I'm down. The asylum would be open on weekends so that the locals could come in, strolling through the gardens and have picnics among the safer inmates. They would have bands playing and games happening on the lawns. I'm sure they presented their most put together patients, and everyone would walk away thinking it was a lovely place. But unfortunately, that's not the reality of what the patients experience, but we will get into that later. In 1938, the Warrengata Ladies Auxiliary formed, and the community members took an active role in contributing to patients' comforts and interests. The Ladies Auxiliary had different names for it. They have the Country Women's Association and stuff like that, you know? So the CWA, Cake Ladies, came in and did some volunteering. In 1951, a fire swept through the male wing, causing considerable damage. An article from the Herald Sun, which is a paper that is still around today, that year read, 400 male patients, many unarmed, were rescued from the Beechworth Asylum today, minutes before a fire caused the blazing top story of the mental hospital to collapse. 11 patients escaped into the surrounding mountainous country. Love it. They saw their chance and they took it.
Oh, perfect. It's done a fucking runner.
did.
Absconded.
Naked.
Absconded into the fucking
They absconded
forest.
butt ass naked.
Oh, hell yeah. I love that.
Not sure why they were naked. I don't know. 400
Because they're mental patients. What do you mean?
They just get
They
around with no
always
clothes
take
on.
their fucking clothes off.
400 of them at once? Strange. Anyway.
Look, who knows? Who knows what was going on?
Not sure. It would have been a sight to see, though, I swear.
Oh,
Anyway, 7 were later recaptured, but 4 described as not dangerous are still at large. Literally.
what, to this day?
Yeah, because it was in 1951. So technically, you could
could be
have
still
some
alive.
really fucking old
Oh my God.
crazy person still wandering around.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So there was
Escape from Alcatraz.
I mean, it was pretty secure. We'll get into that later. So new buildings were built after the fire, but the site never returned to its original size. In 1962, the mental retardation and mental hospital sections, using their language...
I know.
Not mine.
I know, it's just so different.
I know. The mental retardation and mental hospital sections were officially separated.
By the way, mental retardation is actually a correct medical term.
Yeah, I know.
It is.
Yeah, I know. People have misused it.
Yes.
So, in 1962, the mental... I've read that part.
Yeah, let's not say it
Let's
again.
not say it again. In 1967, Robert Coates, a professional landscape gardener, was admitted to the asylum as a patient. During his 5-year stay, Coates was instrumental in the early planning of the gardens at Mayday Hills. The Melbourne Royal Botanical Gardens supplied many of the exotic trees, which can still be found around the grounds today. Apparently it's really beautiful.
Yeah.
In 1976, the Crefford Clinic, which is now the George Crefford Hotel, which you can stay at, was built on the original site of the Medical Superintendent's Quarters, which was originally built in 1907.
Yeah, right.
The clinic functioned as an early psychiatric treatment centre. In 1977, the psychiatric hospital was renamed as such under the Mental Health Act of 1959. In 1992, all intellectual disability clients had been removed from the hospital and placed in other forms of accommodation. Better late than never. So they had disabled people mixed in with the crazy population. In 1993, the psychiatric hospital only had a capacity of 130 beds. 20 of those were available for acute and adult patients, and more than 70 of those were for geriatric patients. So it kind of just transitioned into an aged care facility. Following the Royal Commission into Psychiatric Care, the hospital shut down in 1995 after running for 128 years. The site was purchased by La Trobe University in 1996 for $750,000. This was in 1996. So today it would be around $1,559,314.09 AUD.
Wow.
That's crazy, right? Inflation, man.
Yeah.
Mayday Hills remained empty until 2013 when La Trobe University sold the facility to a local company composed of 2 Beechworth businessmen, George Fendick and Jeff Lucas. The site has since been subdivided and either leased or sold to tourism and arts-based businesses. On the grounds are a hotel, like I said before, which is called the George Crefford Hotel, a conference centre, which is still run by La Trobe University. The gardens are open to the public from dawn till dusk, and ghost and historical tours operate most days of the week, which we will be doing. We're going to go on a road trip when Max goes away.
Yeah.
Let's go stay at the George Crefford Hotel.
Let's do it.
We'll find some ghost hunting gear.
I've got a metal detector. Obviously, that won't do anything. Just being stupid. You never know. I'm glad that made you laugh. Well, that was my purpose.
That was your intention.
That was my whole intention. You sound really fucking stupid.
I got a metal detector. Okay, so that's the history of the place. Now let's get into what the patients experienced, which was, in short, horrific. As the understanding of mental health was so basic at the time, patients were admitted to hospital for genuine mental health conditions such as schizophrenia and depression, all the way down to misunderstood physical conditions such as epilepsy and Down syndrome. I thought we could take a moment to go over a list I found of reasons for admission to the asylum from 1864 to 1889. It's literally put up in the asylum on the ghost tour. I'll find it.
Oh, yeah.
One sec. Yes. Okay. So, reasons for admission. Falling off a horse.
What, because you got a brain injury or something? Traumatic brain injury? Oh.
Penniless. Just being penniless. Being an
You're
orphan.
poor.
Being an orphan.
Oh.
Argues with husband. Physically deformed. Seeing things. Talks to self. Dementia. Homeless. Difficult child. Drunkard. That would be me. Excess of opium.
Wow.
So if you're an opium
Stoner.
addict, kicked in the head. Just kicked in the head.
Wow.
Fright. Nervous shock. Disobedient. Unmarried mother. Just chuck the spinsters in.
Everyone that wasn't perfect and married.
Literally.
And rich.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Sounds like bloody Nazi
It's
Germany.
crazy. It does.
Oh, God. Selecting the best and selecting the worst to be put away.
I know.
Oh.
So here's some more. Prostitution. Barren, just being barren, unable to bear children. Being an imbecile. Having fevers. Being dumb. Religious excitement. Bad mothering. Masturbation.
I would be in there for the rest of my fucking life. Holy shit, I would never get out. Oh, fuck.
Oh, my God.
Oh, This is ridiculous.
Old age.
This is so ridiculous.
Depression, paralysis, uncontrolled sexual appetite, sexual diseases, STIs, previous attacks of just says previous attacks. Not
Previous
sure what that means.
attacks.
Undiagnosed.
You violent,
illnesses,
maybe.
Tuberculosis. Just like full blown medical conditions. Self-abuse. So like self-harm. Incest. Love affairs. Overwork. Sunstroke. Women's afflictions. Like periods, I think. Stubbornness. Hysteria. Dropsy. I don't know what that is.
Oh, dropsy is... Oh, fuck.
Do you know what that is?
I did. I could tell you if I... Oh,
Hey Siri, what is dropsy?
there's different types.
It says edema.
Yeah. Yes,
Is it
it
edema?
is. It is. Because dropsy in a fish is also edema. Their kidneys start to fail and they swell up and then they
interesting.
die.
Okay.
This happens to be the fish
The
a
next
lot.
one, quackery.
Quackery.
So all of the psychs
fake.
would end up as inpatients because they're quacks.
Wow.
Not really, but that's the joke. Anyway, hereditary influence, whatever that means. Sexual abuse. So you would get chucked in for being a sexual abuser. Jealousy, immoral life, bloody flux. Not sure what that is. Snuff eating. Asthma. Being greedy. Brain fever, laziness, grief, nerves, smallpox, novel reading. If you've read a novel, you're insane apparently. Being a murderer, wearing red, doing housework on a Sunday, women in hotels, gunshot wounds, egotism, wanton behaviour, hard study, can't speak English, bad company, political excitement, desertion by husband, scarlet fever, superstition, hit by a wagon, and beaten. So those are the reasons from 1870 to 1910. Valid. It's just like every fucking single person in the population could have got thrown in a fucking asylum except for a straight white man.
Who's rich?
Yeah. I'm surprised homosexuality isn't on here.
What? Yeah. Oh, unless that's like the sexual deviance ones.
Could
that
be.
it's talking
Yeah.
about.
Probably.
Probably all-inclusive
Yeah.
terms.
True. If you needed any evidence of patriarchy, there it is right there. A fucking historical sign.
Yeah.
Telling you all the reasons you were chucked into a psychiatric prison.
Not listening to your husband. Like,
Yeah, what? Crazy. So, at the time, only 2 signatures by public officials, not even doctors, were required in order to be admitted to Beechworth Asylum. So 2 men had to sign you off to put you in. However, 8 were needed to be discharged. So if you wanted to get out, you needed to get 8 signatures
that's ridiculous.
from public officials. You were never getting out. So if a husband wanted to get rid of his
So
wife,
sad.
which they so often did, all he had to do was get a doctor or the fucking local publican to agree that she was unstable. And then she would never have a chance in hell of getting out. Therefore, it was estimated that around a third of the patients admitted to Mayday Hills never left. The 2-signature method was amended by the Mental Health Act of 1959, which stated that a person could be admitted upon recommendation of a medical practitioner who had examined the person. However, as soon as possible after the admission, the superintendent of the hospital was required to examine the patient and either approve the recommended admission or discharge the patient. Any lunatic person found wandering at large or not under proper care and control could be brought before 2 justices who could order the person's removal to an asylum. The police were usually responsible for bringing the person before the 2 justices.
My God, there's no sort of freedom, choice, or autonomy or anything. Is
Yeah, it's
there?
like, I identify a crazy person in my opinion.
Yeah.
Therefore, in the sin bin. Any prisoner of the Crown thought to be a lunatic could also be removed from a jail to an asylum by the order of the Chief Secretary. So, not surprisingly, they had a lot of criminals mixed in with the mentally ill and just physically sick and just plain old sane people who got chucked in there.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
It's crazy, right? Such a mix of people. You can imagine, like, the shit that went on amongst the prisoners, you know? All the patients, quote unquote. They also had voluntary boarders who requested that they'd be admitted for a mutually agreed upon time, like how you would check yourself in voluntarily for an inpatient psychiatric stay. However, this was from 1915 onwards. So while there are many legitimately ill people, including alcoholics, opium addicts from the goldfields, there were also many people who were not ill. Some people became patients by refusing or being unable to answer a judge's or policeman's questions. Crazy.
Wow.
Young people, aka children, were also incarcerated for being aggressive and not doing what they're told. So just like being a normal child or just being slightly aggressive. All of Gen Z would be detoned if it was now. Patients were also hospitalised for suffering from postnatal depression or for simply being shy. A particularly heart-wrenching tale is that of an 11-year-old boy who was incarcerated for stealing a horse in Melbourne. He remained there until he died several decades later at 84.
Whoa. Oh my god.
He stole a horse at 11 and died there at 84.
Oh my god.
That's crazy.
What kind of a life is that?
Oh, he would have been fucked. At its peak, the asylum housed some 1,200 patients and 500 staff members.
Okay.
Yeah. There are mixed
500.
reports on just how many patients died during their time at Beechworth. I have seen articles that gave as few as 3,000 and as much as 9,000 people died. Because of this, you can imagine there is significant reporting of paranormal encounters on the property today. It was also quite normal to see very young children in asylums. The youngest in the boys' ward, known as the bull pit or pen, depending on the source you read, was 6. And in that same ward, the oldest was 28. So you've got 6-year-olds through to 28-year-olds in the same ward. It's fucked.
I wonder how much like sexual abuse is going on in there as well.
A lot. Yeah, that's what I'm insinuating. Like you've got criminals mixed in with kids. So there was no DSM-5 back then, and for those who are unaware, the DSM is the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. The DSM serves as the principal authority for psychiatric diagnosis and treatment recommendations. So there was none of that back then. So there were only 2 categories of patients in the asylum. You were either classed as an imbecile or an idiot. I don't know the differential criteria for those. But yeah, imbecile or idiot. I feel like they're the same thing. Are they not?
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
As the main form of rehabilitation, pre-1950s, the standard treatment of the day for those suffering from mental illnesses and neurological illnesses like epilepsy was restraint and isolation in confined places. Then came lobotomies and electric shock treatments. There are stories of mass shock treatments where almost the entire patient population of the asylum was shocked in one session.
Oh my god.
And if you can think back to just a few paragraphs ago, the youngest patient was 6.
Is this like electroconvulsion therapy stuff? Okay.
Not surprisingly, the rooms where these treatments took place are where the most paranormal activity seems to occur. There were also reports of mysterious deaths and disappearances there, including people getting pushed out of windows, dying in kitchen accidents and flat-out murder, such as a patient named Ted killing the barber with his own shaving blade.
Oh, wow.
And a patient pushing another patient head first into a fireplace.
My god.
Like you can imagine people
evil.
would kill each other flat out.
Yeah, they're all fucked, half of them.
Yeah,
like,
and 1,200 patients, a lot of them violent,
running amok on this
with
property.
500 staff members.
Those patients could still take over that whole hospital and...
That's why the men's ward was called
Yeah.
the bull pit, because it was full of testosterone and... Anyway, we'll get into it. And supposedly in the facility's first lab for operations and autopsies and experimentation, jars filled with body parts and formaldehyde adorned the shelves. These jars have since vanished. Full moons have always been associated with insanity. Like I said, take the words lunacy and lunatic. Locals recall stories of how the asylum became very noisy on a full moon, to the point of where a flock of 20 peacocks were brought in to roam the grounds so that their calls would drown out the cries of the patients.
Oh my
and
God.
they're fucked. I'm pretty sure I've seen a couple of peacocks still in Beechworth.
Wow.
Roaming around. So let's talk about some of the different features of the asylum. What is now called the Chapel of the Resurrection was originally constructed in 1868 as the dead house or mortuary for the hospital. The building looked like it had external windows, but it really didn't. I'm not sure why. They just made it look like a nice building, but it wasn't.
Yeah, to the outside.
Yeah. So I guess they were like decorative or something. But anyway, the floor sloped inwards from each wall with the drainage pit in the centre of the floor for like blood drainage, I would say, if you're doing autopsies and that. It's a mortuary. It was converted into a chapel in the 1960s and can now be used as a wedding venue.
That's fucked.
Why? Why would you?
Ew. Would never.
No. Another feature of the grounds were the ha-ha walls. These were a unique architectural feature that was placed around many of the patient courtyards in the asylum in Victoria at the time. Both Kew and Beechworth used a variation of ha-ha walls. The key feature of the wall was a trench built on the interior of the wall. This made the wall appear low enough to the outside world that patients weren't imprisoned. It made it seem like they weren't imprisoned, while ensuring that none of them could actually escape. So from someone looking from the outside looking in, the wall would look about 3 metres high. Anyone could jump over it. But from the inside, it's really, really deep, you know? The name might have come from the term half up, half down, or possibly more so the laughing that came from people viewing the wall and knowing that there was never going to be an ability of escape, which was a much crueler name. Dr. Eric Cunningham Dax, the Director of Hygiene and one of the managers of Mayday Hills, supposedly brought huge changes to the asylum in the 1950s, including art therapy and getting patients to wear underwear and normal garments. He also had the ha-ha wall dismantled in 1955. So from 1867 to 1955, they had these walls up. So not quite 100 years, but close. So earlier we briefly mentioned the bull pit or bull pen, as it was said to have been exclusively used for younger men who were in their youth through to their 20s. There would be around 80 to 120 boys in there at a time, and they would share the same bathrooms and often dirty bath water. The name is said to have come from the effect it would have had on these young testosterone-filled men, all kept in the same proximity. The types of people put in the bull pit were people with Down syndrome, epilepsy, ADHD, and autism. Those are the children. Unfortunately, mixed in with this vulnerable population were the overflow from the jail. So you have people with Down syndrome, ADHD, and autism as young as 6 put in with violent criminals. This is like the early, bang bang shoot 'em up bushranger days. You know, there was a lot of fighting for power and control and reports of sexual assault. There was often stories told from staff about how difficult it was to control these men. So one of the ways they tried to control them as a group was to provide them with clothing that was too big for them, like 2 sizes too big. So they had to continually hold their pants up.
God.
So they couldn't fight, they had to hold their pants up. Another method they used was to put laxatives in their food so that they were more concerned with the need to use the toilet than fighting. So you're struggling to hold your pants up that are too big for you, and you're constantly shitting, mixed in with mentally ill patients and autistic patients who probably don't give a fuck or are unaware that they are just flat out shitting.
Yeah, and you can imagine finger paint.
Yeah, you can imagine what a constant mess it was in there. People taking the tour now say that this section has a particularly nasty smell still to this day. The women's maniacal ward was in the northeast section of the females patients wing and was built as part of the original building in 1860s. Today, this section is easily the most historically important part of the facility due to it still retaining the most original layout of any ward in the asylum. Apparently, they painted everything in pink and blue tones because it was supposed to be soothing. So this section is the only ward to still have the early pink finish to the external render. They have tried to keep this section as historically accurate and haven't changed it too much. Mostly everything is original, especially in the areas like the laundry and the boiler house. The women's maniacal ward included a laundry and a sewing section in the front area on the first floor, as this was where women would practice needlework and such. The ward still contains 8 original 1860s cells, with 4 on the ground floor and 4 immediately above it on the first floor. So on the ghost tour at this asylum, they take you into one of the cells on the first floor of the tour, shut the door, and supposedly read the list of reasons to be admitted to you. The cells are apparently creepy as hell, and you can see gouge marks, teeth marks, and scratches on the wood of the doors from the patients that were locked in there and trying to get out. Imagine being mentally unwell and just being isolated in a small cell. Of course they tried to get out. The Grevillea wing was the original infirmary and was where the patients waited for their electroshock therapy. Medication had not been introduced until the 1950s, so restraints, like we mentioned, such as straitjackets and shackles were used, as well as lobotomies and electroshock treatment. These treatments were widely used in hospitals in the early days. When the shocks were administered, the patient's body was either splayed out backwards with force or contracted inward into the fetal position. Regardless of the position, ligaments would snap, bones were often broken, and teeth shattered. This was all done without anaesthesia. Can you imagine that happening to a small child? No. How fucked. Self-harming patients had leather mittens locked onto their hands so they could not use them. If they tried to gnaw the gloves off, they would have a tooth pulled again, no anesthesia. If they repeated this action twice, they would lose 2 teeth. And if they tried a third time, all of their teeth would be pulled out without anesthesia. Could you imagine?
Is that?
That's fucked, right?
What even is that?
It's just
What kind of
so
punishment is
primitive.
that?
You know, it's just like,
Yeah,
if
it's
you chew on your
torture.
mittens, we'll take out your teeth.
It's actual torture.
Yeah, oh yeah. And that's not even the worst of it. Hydrotherapy was a very popular treatment as well. There was a lot of ways to utilise this treatment, but most commonly the patient's hands and feet were tied, and they often had a sheet over their face, held tight so that they couldn't scream, and they were submerged into freezing cold water and then held under for extended periods. So basically waterboarding. They would do this until the patient became submissive. Another method was to spray them with high-pressure cold water. You see this depicted a lot in movies, and unfortunately it's very true to the time. Also used were humoral treatments, which is when the expert feels that the patient's fluid levels are unbalanced. So they would blister, vomit, or bleed them, which sounds absolutely horrific. Essentially, they believed that mental illnesses was a disease of the body, and so humoral treatments were prescribed to purge the body of melancholy. So with blistering, they would put a substance on the skin, usually some kind of chemical, that would cause huge burns and blisters. As the patient healed, it was thought to draw out the illness. Okay. Next would be vomiting. They would induce vomiting, typically by using a swing chair.
Oh.
You would swing in a circle while in a straitjacket until you became sick, lost consciousness, and hopefully resulting in vomiting up the illness. The fuck? That would be horrific. I can't do circular swings or spinning in any way. Like my kids want me to get on those fucking little merry-go-rounds. No, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
On the playgrounds? No. And finally, there was bloodletting, which is where they drain your blood in large quantities in hopes that they've drained out the illness. Pretty wild, right? Some experts even say that mental illness was caused by infected organs. Some patients had their stomachs removed or parts of their intestines, appendix, thyroid gland, and essentially anything they felt they could remove. I would wager that's where the collections of organs in jars came from. This obviously did not fix anything, and the majority of patients died during surgery or afterwards. Schizophrenia patients were often injected with malaria because doctors thought that high fever would kill the mental illness, if not them. It's just so bad. It just keeps getting worse and worse. And then next came shock therapy. And when we think about shock therapy, we often just think about electric shock therapy, which actually wasn't the type of shock therapy delivered to patients. There was also insulin shock therapy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And of course, this was when insulin was a thing, so around 1921 onwards. They would inject high amounts of insulin into a patient, causing them to go into hypoglycemic shock. And after several hours, they would be revived somehow. Not sure. Maybe just injected with some sugars. Not sure. And supposedly, because of this, they were cured from their illness. Obviously, they weren't cured of anything, so this would be repeated daily for months until amnesia, brain damage, or death occurred.
Ugh.
Once shock therapy proved to be unsuccessful, they moved on to electroconvulsive therapy, which is where patients were shocked with electricity, inducing a seizure, which supposedly helped cure you. Now ECT is still used today. However, these days, ECT is performed under general anaesthesia and with muscle relaxants to ensure patient comfort and safety. Yeah. The electrical current triggers a brief seizure, typically lasting 30 to 60 seconds. ECT is still not fully understood, and due to its misuse throughout history, has a significant amount of stigma attached to it. However, it's thought to stimulate the release of neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine, which play a role in mood regulation. Because of this, it's particularly effective in treating severe depressions, especially when other treatments like medication or therapy are ineffective.
I have had quite a few patients over the years that have done ECT prior.
And I've said it's
for depression,
helpful.
and it was very, very helpful and curative for them.
Yeah, it can provide rapid relief from symptoms, making it a valuable option for individuals experiencing suicidal thoughts or severe distress.
This is like a last line therapy that they use even these days. If medication doesn't work, they will refer you for ECT.
It's still not fully understood how it works, though. But
it's like it traumatizes the brain and results in a massive release of
reset.
serotonin, dopamine, reset you sort of,
So, moving on to another common surgical treatment, the lobotomy. If you haven't listened to our episode on the origins of the lobotomy, do go and check that out. But for right now, a lobotomy is a surgery where the frontal lobe of the brain is detached from other parts of the brain, either by accessing the brain through a surgical incision in the top of the head or via the eye, called the transorbital lobotomy. Yummy! Lobotomies routinely left patients in a vegetative state with massive brain damage and, of course, caused death. And when patients recovered, they were often zombies afterwards. During the transorbital lobotomy, an ice pick was hammered into the eye socket and then wriggled around a bit. They did this by lifting open the upper eyelid and driving the ice pick up into the brain. So nice, without anaesthesia. Because the brain doesn't technically feel any pain itself, the patients were awake despite the hammering into the skull. Absolutely horrific. So yeah, these were some of the horrific things that went on in Grevillea. So you can imagine how haunted it fucking is, you know? Anyway, moving on to the cellar. The cellar is the oldest and one of the most haunted parts of the hospital. When the hospital was still under construction, they shipped in some prisoners from the local jail to help build the asylum. The prisoners that were building it, instead of being transported back to the jail, were sometimes locked in overnight in the cellar, just for convenience sake. The cellar was also used as a morgue for a time, so you could imagine you're having these prisoners locked in the cell, and in the next section there's a dead body on a slab, not refrigerated or anything. It's suspected that the underground section may have been more expansive than it appears now, and there could be much more to discover behind the bricked up ventilation shaft, such as the jars of organs. The cellar also ended up being the female nurse's dining room for a time. It had al fresco painting adorning all four walls, and it was supposedly done by a female prisoner. Speaking of the nurses, in 1937, the nurses' quarters were built. Prior to this, nurses slept in their own private room located within each ward. Nurses were, imagine sleeping in that place.
Gosh.
Fuck that. Nurses were required to live on site unless they could show sufficient reason not to. How about I'm scared? The top floor of the nurses' quarters was later used as classrooms for nursing students in Latrobe in the 1960s. So the other thing with the fire was that, as we mentioned earlier, 11 people escaped, 7 were found and 4 remained at large. One of them, in 1954 on the 30th of August, a skeleton of an escaped patient was discovered in a bush outside. Her name was Frances Eileen Dobson, one of the escaped patients, and she'd been missing for about 6 years.
Okay.
It's crazy. So that's the history.
She must have just fucking laid down and died.
Or died of exposure because they were naked.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, yeah.
She must have, like, if she's
She was
not
probably
well,
not well in the head. Didn't know where she was.
She's just gonna
fucking ran to a random bush,
hang
laid down,
out
had a sleep, fucking died of exposure.
She's gonna die. Yeah,
Poor thing.
would have had no idea. Probably.
Yeah,
Potentially.
there were so many deaths on the place. A lot of them were buried in unmarked graves, mass graves. We'll get into it. So now that we've read about the history and the different places and what went on, we're going to talk about the hauntings of this place, of Beechworth Asylum.
Okay.
Okay. Things we're going to experience when we go.
Okay.
I've actually watched like a couple of YouTube videos of paranormal investigators that have gone there, and I got a little bit creeped out. It's pretty fucking creepy.
Really? Yeah. At specifically Beechworth?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot.
Hey.
There's a lot of people who've gone there and done their investigations, and there's lots of activity.
Wow.
So according to Nathaniel Buchanan, researcher for Arrowdale Ghost Tours, up to 1/3 of patients who entered Victoria's asylums never made it out alive. Deceased inmates were buried in the asylum grounds, and sadly, it was not until 1980 that the inmates received their own graves and headstones. As mentioned before, the old asylum is currently open to ghost tours, and it's not surprising, given its history, that people flock there to experience paranormal activity. People who have visited have reported hearing things, having sensations, things touching them, and seeing apparitions and orbs. The most famous ghost of Beechworth is Matron Sharp.
Okay.
Matron Sharp served as a nurse at the asylum for many years during the late 1800s. She was definitely not your typical caretaker in asylums like this because she, unlike many others, truly cared for the patients, which, let's be honest, was super rare at the time.
Yeah.
She would bring in fresh flowers, she showed kindness and compassion, and she even left her own children in care so that she could work at the asylum full time. Her ghost has reportedly been seen since before the facility was even decommissioned. In fact, other nurses who worked there said that they could see her ghost sitting with patients who were waiting to receive their ECT. Those who witnessed the figure say the room would turn icy cold, but her presence seemed to bring comfort to the patients. Tour guides would ask Matron Sharp to escort them through and protect them from unfriendly spirits in other parts of the asylum as they take their tour. They still do that. And she's literally the only friendly ghost. So they ask her to, go with them. The ghost of William Whitehead, a former Beechworth jail inmate, because remember, asylums also took overflow from the jails. So in the asylum, there would be men, women, children, and jail inmates. William was the first person to receive a surgery at Beechworth within hours of its opening, and he ended up dying from complications, although his death certificate would say that he died of insanity. After his death, his body parts were preserved in formaldehyde and stored on the bookshelves. Of course, they're no longer there today, but they're still said to be stored in a blocked-off area somewhere in the original cellar of the asylum, hence why it's so fucking haunted.
So why has this been blocked off, this section, and why haven't they unblocked it for research purposes?
I'm not sure. That's a great question.
I want to unblock
It's a theory.
I want to go have a look.
Might just be, I don't know. Yeah, we should.
We should take a sledgehammer.
I think we would be put in jail. It's a fucking heritage building.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Okay. I'm sure we can
Heritage
find
listed.
another abandoned building that
That's
we can
probably
take a
why.
sledgehammer.
Because it's a heritage building. You can't alter it in any way.
But they're not. I was like, are you altering it though? You're just moving
You're
some
smashing
bricks.
down a wall.
But the wall is concealing something that holds potentially the bodies
Organs. Don't know
of people that their families may still be wondering, like,
where their organs
what
are.
happens to them
True.
when they died, you know? That's what I'm thinking of. Like,
Yeah, maybe.
what about fixing the mistakes of the past? That's just me. Whatever.
Guess I don't give a fuck.
Silly. Yeah, silly idea.
Yeah, just so.
Oh, very silly idea. Why do I care?
William's ghost is frequently felt in the laboratory. Visitors reported feeling strange sensations on their arms and face, and some have heard deep growling noises. No, thank you. Can you
Sure it's
imagine?
not just a setup though. Sure it's
deep-
not just a setup. They've got projectors.
Oh, here comes the skeptic.
They've got oh no, I've always been a skeptic. Especially about ghosts.
Could be.
But like,
We should go and fucking figure it out. See for ourselves.
do you believe in ghosts?
Yeah.
I can tell.
The recreation hall was an area for the patients to sing, play music, and perform in plays, and on Sundays the hall would double up as a chapel. In 1939, the hall became...
Fact. I'm sorry, but why are
Wow.
they using all the death rooms for all these
I
celebrations?
don't know.
Celebrations. Now one of the rooms is a fucking wedding venue. Like, what?
Because people are cruel and don't give
It's
a
just
fuck.
crazy. I would never want to have my marriage in a place like that. Imagine the bad energy if
I
I
know.
can put into it.
Exactly.
What?
There's a lot of debate.
Just even being in that space would be
Well,
like,
there's a lot of debate of whether they should even be doing paranormal tours there on such a place that horrific things happened, and
yeah, it's
you
making
know,
money out
making
of
money out of
people
it.
suffering. But
But
then
I-
they
yeah.
have tours of Auschwitz, so.
They do.
But it's a learning opportunity,
Yes,
really.
it is.
That's the point.
I mean, it's to make sure that the history is never forgotten, isn't it?
Yeah, so that we
Yeah.
don't go fucking back and repeat.
Yeah. In 1939, the hall became a cinema for the inmates. There are 2 ghosts that have been seen there. One ghost is that of a young girl. She approaches women and desperately tries to communicate with them. The other ghost commonly seen is an elderly man facing away from the window that was once part of the bell tower. So another story was of a rather infamous individual who now haunts the halls of the asylum as a ghost. It's Ned Kelly's uncle, Jim Kelly. Yeah. Apparently...
I didn't know that.
Yeah, me either. Apparently he was a bit of a douche.
Shocking.
Yeah, so he burnt down...
Douche raised a douche.
Yeah, so he was his uncle. He burnt down his sister's house, so Ned Kelly's mum's house, when he was a bit of a youngin'. And he was sentenced to 15 years hard labour as a result. And that hard labour that he was sentenced
15
to...
years hard labour?
Yeah. And that hard labour that he was sentenced to was the building of the Beechworth Asylum. So he was one of the prisoners that built the cellar. Yeah. And it's believed...
so interesting.
It's so interesting.
It's like a little circle in a way, isn't it?
I know. Yeah, full circle moment. And it's believed that after serving his time, he stayed on as a patient because he thought that he was broken from being there. So he wasn't insane, but he did a wrong thing. He was an inmate and got, sent to hard labour, and he just decided to stay after 15 years of doing it.
He probably didn't know anything else? Anything else? After
Probably
that
not.
point? I mean, they sound like they got a pretty good setup.
And by then, his nephew had probably been hanged by then, I reckon. So
I mean, they've got a bloody hairdresser. They've got a chemist.
they do. They've got a fountain.
They've got a toy shop. Like,
What's a bit of ECT or
what
a
else do you
lobotomy?
need?
Who gives a fuck?
I can understand how he would be like, in that
why
time,
wouldn't you?
life would be difficult. And imagine you staying there and everything's done for you.
Yeah, but you were
meals
subjected to these
done.
horrific treatments.
Yeah, but then imagine how difficult life could be on the outside for some of those people, right?
Yeah,
For some of them.
true. But these guys were
we
outlaws.
can't understand their thinking, I'm sure.
He
to
probably
the
went
full extent,
insane.
but
He was there for 15 years experiencing the most horrific shit.
Probably that too. He was probably, what's the word?
Institutionalised.
Yeah. And also like when someone falls in love with their captor.
Stockholm Syndrome.
Stockholm type syndrome thing, yeah? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
True. So you will remember that they locked them up in the cellar after a day's work of building it, and they wouldn't go back to the jail for food or for whatever they needed. They just locked them up and kept them going. So they were starved, deprived of sleep, and they were putrid. So because of this, after 15 years, he decided to stay. And I wrote here, Stockholm Syndrome, maybe. That's funny.
Bingo.
He stayed there until his death.
First thought.
Yeah, he stayed there until his death and was laid to rest in one of the many unmarked graves. Just chucked on in there, Ned Kelly's uncle, with his feet facing away from the town. It was thought that at the time that when you die, souls leave your feet. And so if
So that's why you call the soles of your feet?
Yes, that's literally it. Isn't that funny?
Oh, we came full circle again.
We did.
Holy shit.
And so if their feet face the right direction towards society, towards healthy people, that their souls would leak out and leak their secrets and possibly their illness, so they face them away. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Since his death, his unexplained signature has appeared on the wall of the asylum. People flock to see it.
Surely someone.
Yeah.
Come on.
I was going to say, Olivia's not going to believe that.
Come on.
Other sightings from people visit... I tried to find a picture of it too, and there's no pictures taken of it, but apparently people have seen it. Other sightings from people visiting the asylum include seeing strange figures in the windows, to people that felt a breeze or a shift in temperature. And it's also very common to hear noises such as the faint sound of whispers, footsteps, or creaking coming from the rooms.
You know, when I'm scared, I can hear noises too.
She's just decided to be a skeptic. I love
I'm
it.
just being silly.
Photos
I'm open to it. Look, if I have some fucking weird ass experience, I will be open to changing my mind for sure. But
if you had your hair played with, would that fucking freak you out? Because that's happened.
that would freak me out.
Yeah. Some people have been
Very
grabbed.
particular about my hair.
Photos of ghosts have apparently also been taken.
Like I know every single strand where it sits.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
There's a photo that was taken by a paranormal investigator, Jeff Brown, which apparently shows a transparent type figure standing in between two people in the tour group. Tour operators frequently say, check your photos when you get home, because apparently it's quite common to capture spirits in these photos.
Look, to be fair, when I did the ghost tour in Tassie,
Yeah.
some of the students did take photos, and I think one girl captured some sort of thing in her photo.
Yeah.
Actually did look like something.
Yeah.
But then, of course, we were all like, it's just the lighting. They've just set up, you know.
So this is the photo. So these are the two people. These are legitimate people, but this is like
But
the
why is
ghost.
the quality of all these photos always so bad?
I think this is due to the ghost. Like
Okay.
it's blurring out their faces, and that's the ghost there. So we'll put that up on Instagram. So a lot of people have commented on the viral photo saying it looks like a double exposure, or that it could have been doctored afterwards, which is all true. But tour operators
AI.
firmly shut it down. Not sure why. One visitor said that at one point she could see her own breath. I mean, if it's cold, it's cold. Like, what?
It's Melbourne.
it's not,
Victoria.
but it's really cold
Yeah.
in Beechworth, despite there being no dip in temperature, though. So that's the context. So it wasn't cold, and you could see her own breath. And then when she entered the matron's room, she had another tourist felt a rush of heat over them. And
it's a hot flush.
yeah, and they started sweating.
period.
But then the sensation completely disappeared when they left the room.
Can you imagine me with my hot flushes? I'd be like, guys, there's so many
there's a
ghosts in
ghost.
here. Oh, another hot flush. Here we go. There's another one.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Additionally, when she made her way to the autopsy room, she felt confident that she saw a figure in the hallway positioned in the shadows. In 2015, a man named Gaurav Tiwari, the founder of the Indian Paranormal Society, who has since passed away, saw a little girl kneeling in the darkness of the infamous Grevillea wing. That one's a bit of a freaky photo, I'll show you it.
Oh, okay.
So that's a picture of before. He took 2 photos. That one. And then, like, it's pretty... Yeah, it's taken from a different angle on that one. But there's like a before
Yeah.
and an after type situation. So I'm not sure why they've done that.
So
But
the door's open though, so it's like she's come through the door and kneeled on the floor.
yeah, but there was no little girl in a fucking... She kind of looks like in an 1800s get up.
Yeah, like with her dress and she's got her hair up.
She's holding something. Yeah,
Like a bun thing.
yeah. Kind of creepy. So there's been sightings of different children, including twin girls and young boys in the bull pit. If I saw 2 1800s-style children that were twins
Style.
lurking in the fucking corridor, I would shit and die. I would simply pass away. Anyway, Adelaide ghost hunter Alan Tiller also had an experience in the bull pit where he heard a door slamming and footsteps up the hallway. Bristol, one of the wards which was knocked down, was where a deceased male doctor could commonly be spotted roaming the halls prior to its demolition. There have been interactions with a patient called Ted, who was known for killing his barber with the barber's own blade.
That guy, yeah.
Yeah, he's around.
Oh.
Those who live nearby have also supposedly seen the ghost of a man wearing a green woolen jacket and wandering around the gardens. This is understood to be Arthur, a man who worked the gardens for many years, earning 10 shillings a week. Apparently, when he was alive, he wore the green jacket non-stop. The ghost just wanders around the garden. It's believed that the nurses found him when he died. He died apparently of a heart attack on the grounds.
Oh, wow.
And when they found his body, it's believed that they found his wages. He used to get paid 10 shillings a week, and they found his wages sewn into the seams of his jacket when he died because he was trying to save his pennies.
Oh. Yeah, what? Fucking no bank accounts back then,
Yeah,
was it?
yeah. And he lived with a bunch of fucking criminals, so yeah, he sewed it into the seams.
Wow.
And they all knew that he was a kind of Scrooge kind of character, and so they never knew where he hid his money. But because he was afraid, because he lived on the grounds as well, because he was afraid the people would steal his money, he sewed it into his green jacket. Another story from the haunted grounds involved a man who disappeared despite desperate efforts by staff to find him, so he obviously absconded. Several weeks after he disappeared, a resident dog called Max was found chewing a leg near the grounds entry, like a fully detached leg.
Okay. Rotting and everything.
This led to finding a man's body up a tree, of all places, presumably where he had attempted to escape. His body had been there so long that his leg had fallen off
Yeah. Just
into
broke
Max's
down and...
possession. This is thought to be the reason behind the stench that lingers among the hospital grounds to this day. The spirit of the patient has been seen in the early hours of the morning near the entrance to the asylum where he tried to escape. So, in the bull pit, there is that angry sort of energy that seems to follow people around in that area. But there is said to be a door that regularly slams and a foul stench, as I said before. There's also footsteps that go up and down the hallway. And this is where people have been scratched. And there's some tapping and knocking that goes on as well. Yeah, people have been scratched for sure. Yeah. There's a well-known 8-year-old little boy named Benjamin who has confirmed that he originated in the bull pit. Sometimes he's able to communicate, and usually it's the same story that people hear with ghost hunting stuff. Like they ask it questions, it responds in the little device. Or they'll have 2 torches and they'll have one on this side for yes, one for no, and they tap them on and off. The ghosts tap them on and off. Sometimes he's able to communicate, and usually it's the same story that people hear. Sometimes he's found in the kitchen, but he's not a sweet little boy. He's a bit of a prick. He's a tormented spirit. He scratches people, taps, knocks, and he actually runs at people, this is terrifying, along the walls in an upside down arched position like The Exorcist. Imagine if you saw that. Like The
Reminds me of
Exorcist
this
run.
video I saw on Instagram that was quite viral.
So describe it. Is it a baby?
Yeah, it's just this baby running on the floor on all fours, and it's coming towards him. And
Ugh.
he's acting like it's the devil because it literally looks like
Oh, okay.
this fucking devil baby running towards him.
Tell me someone has not started fucking mowing their lawn next door.
They have.
Oh, son of a bitch. Go out there and tell them to stop.
Shut up!
Wow. That's loud.
Excuse me, can you just stop mowing until we finish our podcast about ghosts?
Apologies for that, but we're going to continue. So, yeah, backwards exorcist running style 6-year-old. Not about it. I think I would absolutely pass away if I saw that. I would exit swiftly.
Yeah.
Into the Unknown on YouTube is a video where paranormal investigators visit a Beechworth Asylum, and they do a spirit box interaction with an intelligent little boy. And he says his name is Freddie, but there's actually 2 voices that get picked up in this interaction. And one is a man and one is a boy in the bull pit. It was more proof that there was young boys with older men.
Gross. That's
Quote
such-
unquote proof. So in this video, a guy gets grabbed by the back of his jumper. He gets grabbed by the hood. And apparently that's quite common in the kitchen. So the ghost who is believed to be the jumper puller, his name is Tommy Kennedy, and he was originally hired as the kitchen hand. Tommy not only worked in the kitchen, but he was also what was called a dab hand. So essentially a dab hand is someone who transported dead patients out of the hospital.
Ooh.
They did this using a cart, which they actually called a meat wagon.
Right.
Isn't that fucked? He died in the kitchen. We aren't really sure how.
Probably stabbed with a kitchen knife.
Probably. He's probably murdered, yeah. So I'm so distracted by that fucking mower. So I'm not sure whether he was actually an inpatient and became a kitchen hand as a job or a role, or whether he was an outsourced kitchen hand. But Tommy was well liked by all who knew him, and it is here where people have reported feeling a sensation of someone tugging at their clothing or poking them in the ribs. Another ghost in the kitchen is named Terry, and he intelligently responds with noises. So staff used to talk to him all the time, apparently, and the staff that still exist now talk affectionately about Terry, the ghost in the kitchen that would talk to them. There's also another spirit, and this one people report seeing a ghost lying on the ground, dead.
Oh.
Like a dead ghost.
Okay.
But a female. A female chain-smoking patient was thrown out of her window to her death by another patient who wanted her cigarettes. The woman was Jewish, so the staff at the hospital could not move her body until it was seen by a rabbi.
Yeah.
She was left lying out the front of the hospital for 2 days while the
Wow.
rabbi travelled from Melbourne by horse and cart. Yeah. Her ghost has been seen by several people on the spot where she fell. There's a picture that shows the window from which she was thrown, and also clearly shows a bright orb in the window. So I'll show you that.
Oh,
That's the
yeah?
orb. Yeah.
Looks like the main
Yeah.
reflection.
Could be it, but it's so like defined.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like off center.
Yeah.
It's not in the window either.
Yeah.
Actually. It's on the thing.
Yes. So in the cellar, which is really a fucking creepy place apparently, the voice help is heard.
Ooh.
Visitors have also reported hearing disembodied cries, footsteps, and feeling cold sweats and being grabbed, and just an overall feeling of impending doom.
Dread.
Yeah, and dread. And yeah, that's it.
Okay.
I'll show you a picture of the cellar real quick because it is looking... Well, the stairway into the cellar looks fucked.
Wow.
Like, looks like a real creepy place.
Yeah. It does, doesn't it? Look at the
So,
ceiling.
I watched a YouTube video of some ghost hunter kids, and they were actually really quite disrespectful in the place. Like, they mucked around, they made really horrendous jokes and stuff, but they also sort of told the history of the place and, you know, had moments of being respectful, but there was also a lot of fucking larrikin type behaviour, and I'm just like, can you guys like chill out?
Have a
Anyway,
bit of respect for the suffering and death that went on there.
It's like, I think it's called Kobe in someone.
Imagine if you acted like that in Auschwitz.
I know.
You'd be arrested.
Exactly. Yeah, and these are really famous YouTubers. It's Sam and Colby. It's these guys. Young American boys. Anyway, they came and did an episode, and they played hide and seek in there, and
Fuck, that's lame.
they played hide and seek, and the person who found one of them last had to do a dare, and the dare was to sit alone in a straitjacket in the cellar at night for half an hour.
Wow.
And he was really affected by it after. Like, you could tell he's very, very scared, very pale.
Wow.
And they were like, oh, we're sorry for making you do that. But I mean, it's still posted on the internet, and like, I watched the whole thing, got really creeped out. But they were really fucking disrespectful. I just don't like it. I didn't like it. I was like, Sam and Colby, you've got millions of followers. Can you just have some more respect? Anyway, thank you.
Like that
Please and
guy-
thank you. If you're going to go there and do paranormal investigation, don't act like fucking idiots.
Like that guy who went in the suicide forest in Japan. What was his name?
Yeah.
Paul something.
Yeah.
Showing
Logan
the
Paul.
Logan Paul
Yeah,
showing
he's
the
a fucking
bodies
idiot.
that he'd
Yes.
found.
Yeah.
Same sort of
Same thing. It's like
incredibly disrespectful
people
of a
suffering
space
is
that-
not for your clicks, you know.
Entertainment.
Like, entertainment. We do like, people listen to true crime podcasts because they're fascinating and the history of it all. But, you know, don't go into a place where horrific things happen and act disrespectfully. That's just fucking
make fun of it.
uncalled for.
We're very lucky that we live in the time that we do in this world.
Yeah, we are.
And that we have
Yeah,
what
but the
we
suicide
have,
forest, people still go there to kill themselves.
Yeah, of course. I just meant in terms of like there's no sort of asylums or mental hospitals like there used to be.
Yeah.
And in that sense, we're very lucky because you never know when you might be the person that develops a mental illness.
Yeah.
Those young boys, maybe if you ever listen to this.
Yeah. Probably won't, but
No, you probably won't, but you know,
still. Anyway.
the mess.
So, very creepy place. Lots of paranormal activity. Claims to be there.
Yeah.
I would like to go and see for myself.
I'm so excited, yeah.
I've listened to a couple of podcasts about it, and people who have gone on the tour, every single person who's gone on the tour have claimed that they've felt stuff.
Good. It was like good tour.
Good tour.
Worth it.
And very scary.
Yeah. Like an actual
And
proper.
do experience creepy things.
Yeah.
So one girl that I listened to went, and she had her hair played with, like, obviously someone picking up the back of her hair and dropping it like that.
ponytail. Oh.
And then she got grabbed in the cellar
Ooh.
around the ankle. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Wow.
we'll have to get some fucking sage.
Yeah.
So that we can smudge ourselves after so that we don't take home a little spirit. A
Yes.
fucking backwards crawling Benjamin or some shit. No, thank you. Absolutely not. Anyway, if you enjoyed this episode, please let us know. Please send us an email.
So this is quite a good episode.
Yeah, I liked it.
loved
Send us a DM. I love creepy shit,
Yeah.
spooky shit.
Don't we
And I'm
all?
very, very keen. If you want to see us at the Beechworth Asylum, let us know. Comment.
We could totally do a whole video on that.
We could.
Like document our
Oh, definitely.
experience.
And then we can talk about it
Post
on the pod.
it, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Great.
yeah, let us know. If you've got any spooky stories from being at the asylum, send it to nurseratchetpodcast@gmail.com or send us a DM on the Instagram. We would love to hear about it. If you've got any spooky tales of ghost encounters, we would also love to do a listener tales about that.
Yeah, that would be
be great.
Yep.
And yeah, any recommendations
stuff,
for haunted
though.
hospitals also, throw them at us.
Yeah.
And yeah, we will see you in the next one.
Excellent.
Love ya.
Bye.
Keep
Thanks
it-
for joining.
Keep it ratchet. But not so ratchet that you do a backwards run up a
fired,
wall.
yeah.
Anyway, get fired.
Don't do anything ratchet at work.
No. Don't do that.
Unless it's with your work wife or something.
Bye.
Bye.